Pokemon turned 30 years old yesterday, and for this year's deep-ish dive playthrough for a region, I decided the obvious thing to do was go all the way back to the roots of the series and play Generation 1. And I'm really looking forward to it. These games, they certainly show their age in some ways, and I actually thought at one point about doing Fire Red or Leaf Green, because things like the Sevi Islands really add a lot to the Kanto region. But if I'm going back to the origin, I'm going all the way back to Gen 1, I want to go back to Gen 1 properly. And these games showing their age is not strictly a bad thing. In fact, I'm really looking forward to some aspects of it. I'm not kidding with that. These games have, I don't know if I can describe it very well, maybe we'll see it as I go. They just have that late 90s, early 2000s RPG vibe to them that is very nostalgic for me, having been a kid around that time, right? I've said many times, Gen 1 was not my first generation, Gen 2 was, but I did also get Red version a little while after I got Silver, so I did play Gen 1 as a kid. Even for me, it's kind of a weird adjustment going back because it was not my first, but I guess to describe the kind of vibe I'm talking about, some of it is in the aesthetic of the game, right? The 2D pixelated character walking around a 2D pixelated world, but also that world gradually opening up without all the hand-holding tutorials of modern Pokemon games, having to go find items in weird, obscure locations to clear obstacles. Obviously, it's an old game, I know where they are, but it's just a style of game that you don't see anymore that takes me right back to, you know, a special time in my personal gaming history. And there's a lot else that I think is going to be interesting about going back to Gen 1. The Pokemon world of these games is smaller and grimier than we're used to now. Only one region, only one regional Pokedex. Not all that much even seems to be known about Pokemon in this game, right? Like, Professor Oak gives you the Pokedex as a research task, because we don't know how many Pokemon there are. Maybe like 150 or so. And we're still learning a lot about them. The technology is very different. The region has kind of a grittier quality that you don't see too often. It's still a children's game. But, I mean, there are gamblers, there are trainer classes who carry whips. The relationship between humans and Pokemon is certainly very different from how it's conceptualized in the Unova games that I played through in last year's series, which went so long that it spilled over into this year. Pokemon design concepts are different. Pokemon, I think, are a little bit of a different kind of creature from what we're used to seeing. Legendary Pokemon, certainly. The two kinds of legendary in this game are super rare bird and man-made genetic anomaly. The takes on science, the very late 90s science theming is something you don't really see in Pokemon anymore, but Pokemon have, you know, a lot of the aspects of Pokemon design that we see now don't really exist here. They were designed as 2D sprites first. A lot of them are pretty clearly based on kaiju. Power sets are a little bit different. A lot of poison types, very few ghost or dragon types. I think it's going to be a fun time. Rare Pokemon, the idea of a rare Pokemon means something in this game that it doesn't in modern generations. There's no breeding. Some Pokemon can't be found in the wild. There are a number of non-legendary Pokemon in this game that you can only get once, sometimes in a pretty obscure location. And things like Viridian Forest Pikachu are a little bit more special, right? Because that's the only place you're going to find a Pikachu until you get to the power plant. You better get that rare encounter Clefairy in Mount Moon. That's the only place you're going to find a Clefairy, and you do have to have that good luck or perseverance to go around finding one. That kind of thing doesn't land the same way when those Pokemon have appeared in so many generations, and these days in modern Pokemon games it's pretty simple to find whatever encounter you're looking for most of the time. So there's a lot that's nostalgic to me about this game. There's a lot that takes me back to a different time in gaming, and although it's easy to clown these games for how old and buggy they are, in some ways, they're still a really solid starting point for the series. When you consider that these are the very first Pokemon games without 30 years to improve on the formula, they do a lot very well. Even as those 30 years of improvement really show in hindsight. So it is the second playthrough for this year. It is the deep-ish dive playthrough, the one where I stop and smell the flowers, the one where I make a point of exploring and talking to NPCs and so on. I have a feeling it's going to go by more quickly in Gen 1 than it did in either game in Gen 5. They couldn't fit as much content on these cartridges. And I've gone all the way back to Red version because that's the one that I had as a kid out of Red, Blue, and Yellow. And also, if I'm going back to the very origins of the series, Red and Blue, the earliest English releases. This is not Red and Green, but those weren't released in English. Even Yellow version is too recent a game for the premise here, right? So even though it has that definitive third version quality, it doesn't fit what I'm going for. It's time to play Pokemon Red in 2026. And with all that said, let's go. Oh, I should probably have hit options first. I forgot that I could probably change the text speed before this segment. I don't even remember that was a thing. But here's the man who started it all. Hello there. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. This world is inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for fights. Myself, I need to fix that text speed, don't I? I study Pokemon as a profession. First, what is your name? No boy or girl question because these games only supported these games only had one player character. I think we know now that they thought about adding a girl, but ultimately she was cut for space because they really pushed these old Game Boy cartridges to their limits with this game. But anyway, Ash is kind of tempting. But it is tradition around here to use the name of the game version. And picking back up the very first protagonist in the series, I think we have to go with Red, right? All the more reason to be playing Red version, by the way. So my name is Red. This is my grandson. He's been your rival since you were a baby. We are kids. Whoops. What is his name again? Classic Professor Oak forgetting his grandson's name. The obvious pick here is Blue. I am kind of tempted by John. Because it's a default option here, but how many people ever named their rival John? But now it's got to be Blue. That's right, I remember now. His name is Blue. Professor Oak forgetting his grandson's name. A meme for 30 years and counting. Red. Your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Let's go! Still an exciting speech after all this time. So obviously, after I fix the text speed, I usually do set mode in these series. Yeah, okay. Why not? The obvious next thing to do is play the SNES, obviously. Okay, it's time to go. Have an item in here? I do have a potion. Nice. And off we go. I don't have very many thoughts about the team that I'm going to use. I have some thoughts. I honestly thought about doing the Nuzlocke catching gimmick again, but I think what I'm going to do instead, because this is early Pokemon and there's so many sort of formative experiences for older fans with some of the Pokemon availability, I'm going to probably lean into special things like Viridian Forest Pikachu and Mount Moon Clefairy. I haven't thought of very many more examples than that, so I'll be winging it a fair bit, but that's the basic concept. Mom here says, right, all boys leave home someday. It said so on TV. Professor Oak next door is looking for you. Also, very early generation. Names are in all caps. Kind of amusing. I don't know why they did it that way. There's a movie on TV. 4 boys are walking on railroad tracks. I better go too. Alright, the game is really telling me to go start my adventure. Even though I want to take my time. Also, I believe that is a specific movie reference, but I don't remember what movie. Crammed full of Pokemon books. No time to read them, I've gotta go. Even my mom is telling me, you gotta go on your adventure, get out of here. And it's Pallet Town. Let's go. I'm raising Pokemon too. When they get strong, they can protect me. By the way, I played with the game volume a fair bit. I'll probably have recorded multiple parts of this by the time this goes up, but I don't know. Let me know if it's still too loud. I hope not. I lowered it a bunch of times. Right, we got Red's house. I always found that a little bit amusing. I understand gameplay-wise why my house is labeled that way, but, like, I'm just a kid. Why? I'm not really the homeowner. But okay, Red's house. Pallet Town. Shades of your journey await. One thing I like a lot in Yellow version is that each area has kind of a signature color, right? Like the towns have background colors that kind of match the name of the town. Pallet Town, I think it's like a pale purple or something. Kind of plays into Indigo Plateau being the peak of the story in a deeper purple. But anyway. Keeping up the color theme with shades of my journey awaiting. Let's go see Blue's house. Labeled Blue's house. Here's Daisy. Hi, Red. Blue is out at Grandpa's lab. This house doesn't even have a second floor in this game. Got a town map. And there it is. The original Pokemon world. As a kid, I had no idea that this was based on a real part of Japan, even though now I know it's like, not at all subtle about it. We're gonna have a lot to see. Crammed full of Pokemon books. I think they're all gonna say that. Wait, what's this, though? This is probably the town map that she'll give me, right? Yeah, it's a big map. This is useful. Do you think I should try to get that somehow? The game just said that it's useful. And the town's fenced in. Can't go exploring too much. There's all this scary tall grass out here. This is the Oak Pokemon Research Lab. Technology is incredible. You can now store and recall items and Pokemon as data via PC. And that's so old school now. That was the groundbreaking technology of the time. The technology is incredible, guy. Of course, a mainstay of the series. And it all starts with this guy right here. Can't explore the water yet. That comes later. Let's see what's going on in the lab. Professor Oak is apparently looking for me or something. But he's not here. But Blue is. Save option on the menu screen. It's encyclopedia-like, but the pages are blank. Whoa, what could these things be? Maybe we'll find out later. Those are Pokeballs. They contain Pokemon. Alright, thank you, game. These are going to be crammed full of Pokemon books. Professor Oak is the authority on Pokemon. Many Pokemon trainers hold him in high regard. I study Pokemon as Professor Oak's aide. Okay, cool. I study okay. Real independent thinkers there. Yo, Red, Gramps isn't around. That's weird. Well, you know, I can't find Professor Oak. I've explored the whole town already. And the game keeps telling me to just go start my adventure, so I guess I better do that. Bye, Professor Oak. Maybe another time. Hey, wait! Don't go out! Did he just come from my house? He came from, like, next to my house. I don't know. Did he go looking for me while I went looking for him? Honestly, it is the most plausible explanation. It's unsafe. Wild Pokemon live in tall grass. You need your own Pokemon for your protection. I know. I know. I know. I definitely said that one wrong. I know. Here, come with me. Of course, in the yellow version, he catches your Pikachu right there. But in this version, these are Pokeballs. They contain Pokemon. Gramps, I'm fed up with waiting. Blue, let me think. Oh, that's right. I told you to come. Just wait. Here, Red. There are 3 Pokemon here. Haha! They are inside the Pokeballs. The Pokeballs contain Pokemon. When I was young, I was a serious Pokemon trainer. In my old age, I have only 3 left, but you can have 1. Choose. Hey, Gramps, what about me? Be patient, Blue. You can have 1 too. So Professor Oak kind of doing me a favor here, letting me choose first, but of course Blue will take advantage. I thought beforehand about the starter choice. I ruled out Squirtle right away. Squirtle is kind of a neat Pokemon, but it is the one I like least of these 3. Somebody gets last place, right? And there are so many water types. Water has been the most widely distributed type forever. Getting a different fire or grass type is going to be a little bit trickier, but there are so many water types that could be interesting to use in this playthrough. And that leaves Bulbasaur and Charmander, and my favorite Gen 1 starter, honestly, is a really close split. I have changed my mind a few times over the years. Now I consider them to be at about the same level. Very fond of Bulbasaur, very fond of Charmander. Charmander could be fun, because of course it is the most difficult for the early game, because it's bad into both of the first 2 gym leaders, while Bulbasaur is good into the first 3. But in the end, the decision-making factor here, and I sure hope I actually deliver on this now that I'm saying it out loud, is that I think I might do something with Charmander later. I have another playthrough idea that I'm cooking up. Well, that and Bulbasaur is Pokemon number 1, and that's pretty special as we go back to the roots of the series here. So I'm going to pick Bulbasaur. I don't remember... Actually, I think it's probably the one on the right, but let's see. I strongly consider Charmander. But it's not Pokemon number 1, and I think I might be doing something with it later. I do get to read their Pokedex entries here, though, even though I don't have a Pokedex yet. Obviously prefers hot places. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. So, you want the fire Pokemon Charmander? I do not. It's tempting. But not this time. Squirtle. After birth, its back swells and hardens into a shell. Powerfully sprays foam from its mouth. But I'm going with Pokemon number 1. Bulbasaur, the seed Pokemon. A strange seed was planted on its back at birth. The plant sprouts and grows with this Pokemon. Going with Bulbasaur? I do. This Pokemon is really energetic. I want to give it a nickname. So I did also think about a nickname theme before I started. First of all, look at that party sprite. Gen 1, of course, famously. Gen 2 does this as well, though it has a little bit more variety. It doesn't have room for every Pokemon to have an individual party sprite, so instead they're categorized into, like, plant and quadruped and bird. And so that doesn't really look like any particular Pokemon. If anything, maybe like a Bellsprout, but the flower doesn't fit. I think I thought more of Vileplume as a kid, but it's not any specific Pokemon, right? It's just a catch-all for plants. It was really cool to see in the Psychic Gym area these sprites used again as in-universe decoration in Scarlet and Violet. That was a neat callback. Anyway, so I thought for this 30th anniversary special series, the obvious nickname theme was to name the Pokemon for notable trainers over the course of the series. That said, I don't remember coming up with a nickname for Bulbasaur. So, like, I could name it Red, even though that's my name. Red from the Adventures manga had a Bulbasaur. Starter have the same name as the trainer. It's not the end of the world. And who else is, like, really notable for using Bulbasaur? Even when I think to later generations. No, I think the answer is just Red, and if it's awkward that I and my starter have the same name, oh well. Didn't think that all the way through, perhaps, but there we go. We're celebrating the history of the series with a nickname theme, using prominent characters from the series. And Blue, of course, will pick Charmander. And Squirtle will get to sit here on a table forever. That's Professor Oak's last Pokemon. Maybe he should train it. It would be fun to battle him. Someday. My Pokemon looks a lot stronger. If a wild Pokemon appears, your Pokemon can fight against it. We got a different fight to get through first, as just as I go to leave, Blue suddenly has an epiphany. Wait, Red, let's check out our Pokemon. Come on, I'll take you on. And here we go. First battle of the entire Pokemon video game series. Blue sends out Charmander. Under different circumstances, it could be Squirtle or Bulbasaur. And I just spam tackle until the battle's over, one way or the other. It's not the most exciting battle, but it is the original one. He's been going for growls, so lowering my attack. I am accumulating more damage so far. I'm also getting more chances to crit. Of course, Gen 1 crit rates are weird. I don't remember how they work, but they're tied to speed. So Charmander probably has a higher crit rate, just like inherently on its moves than my Bulbasaur does. It looks like I might lose this battle. I could use the potion. If I take another scratch, I'll honestly think about it, because I would like to start on a winning note here. But he's going back to Growl, which is buying me some time. Ooh, got a crit there. Will the next tackle KO? I'm in range of a scratch. Okay, didn't have to use the potion. Let's go. Bulbasaur's just too good. What? Unbelievable! I picked the wrong Pokemon! Well, that's no attitude. That's not the attitude of a winning trainer. This guy's never going to be champion for very long with that attitude. Okay, I'll make my Pokemon fight to toughen it up. Red, Gramps, smell you later. Absolute classic line. I'll be saying that a lot. Does Professor Oak have anything more to say? Red, raise your young Pokemon by making it fight. Yes, sir. These folks are, they don't have anything new to say, so it's time to move on. Can I show Mom my Pokemon? I don't know. I doubt she'll have any more dialogue, but I'm not actually sure. Red, you should take a quick rest. Oh, she can already give me a heal. Okay, that's good to know. Oh good, you and your Pokemon are looking great. Take care now. It's not the greatest dialogue in the world. They definitely get kind of sharper in later games. Will Daisy give me the town map yet? Hi, Red. Blue is out at Grandpa's lab. No. Okay, so that's later. Well, let's head off on our journey. I don't think I have any Pokeballs yet, right? I will be wanting to catch Pokemon early on because I need to catch some to get the first HM. The second HM. I need to catch some to get an HM. Hi, I work at the Pokemon Mart. It's a convenient shop, so please visit us in Viridian City. I know, I'll give you a sample. Here you go. I didn't remember that there was a free sample potion this early in the series. Some other games do that. We also carry Pokeballs for catching Pokemon. There we go, got another potion. I could battle wild Pokemon for levels, but with Bulbasaur I'm not too worried about the early game. Oh yeah, Pokemon types are pretty different in Gen 1 too, right? For a few reasons. One, Dark, Steel, and Fairy don't exist. Two, some of the type chart's a little bit different, like Fire doesn't resist Ice yet, Bug and Poison are strong into each other. Psychic is famously broken, partly because they accidentally made it immune to Ghost, though there are barely any Ghost or Bug attacks anyway, and those are the only two weaknesses Psychic has in this generation. But so even some of the design concepts are not quite all the way there yet, right? Like, flying nowadays is sort of a winged creature type and an air type in one. It effectively is the closest thing we have to an air type, but in Gen 1, I'm pretty sure they hadn't thought of that yet, because Missingno is a bird type, which suggests to me they were working on a bird type, and then they reworked it into flying, so that other winged creatures could also have it. A lot of flying type moves in Gen 1 are based on, like, bird anatomy, like wing attack and pack, or bird behavior, like mirror move. And then wind-based moves like Gust are normal type in this game. So I don't think they even had the idea to make flying the de facto air type yet. So a lot is very different and rougher around the edges. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, I've ignored this guy long enough. See those ledges along the road? It's a bit scary, but you can jump from them. You can get back to Pallet Town quicker that way. Yeah, I can skip some of the tall grass. It is a bit scary though, what do you think? I'm not sure. Let's just go for it. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Anyone over here? No. With that, we already reached Viridian City. Oh, this is a trainer tip sign. I thought it was going to welcome me to the city, but it's just a trainer tip sign explaining PowerPoints. I guess that's important to know about. But hey, this place already is a little bit bigger than Pallet Town. Where do I start? I guess the Pokemon Center. Though I haven't been battling, so I don't need a heal right now. There's a Pokemon Center in every town ahead. They don't charge any money here either. I always forget how the design is different with these single-story Pokemon Centers in Gen 1. Right? There's the trade and... there's the Link Battle and Link Trade stuff over here. And then the PC all the way over here. The Cable Club. Sorry, my bad. Making preparations, please wait. Huh, I wonder when that'll be unlocked. I forgot it's called the Cable Club, back when a link cable was an actual thing you used to connect your systems to each other. I had a link cable back in the day and did some battles and trades with my brothers and stuff. Some friends. You can use that PC in the corner. The receptionist told me. So kind. Someone's PC. The Pokemon storage system. It's Gen 1, so it's all just withdraw, deposit, change the active box when one's full, or you won't be able to catch more Pokemon. Pokemon Centers heal your tired, hurt, or fainted Pokemon. They're getting the tutorial stuff out of the way pretty efficiently just through optional NPC dialogue, which is good. the early, the players back in the day. I'm sure there's a reason they feel like they need to handhold you through it more these days. I don't know if it's a good reason or not, but I'm just sure there is one. But keeping it pretty simple here, pretty effective. But, of course, some kids were totally lost and confused. I mean, I was playing Silver for the first time. It took me ages. I think I evolved my starter on my first file before I found Mr. Pokemon's house. So, hey, maybe today's kids just don't have to suffer like we did. But maybe they should. I don't know. I'm not really stating an opinion on that right now. You want to know about the 2 kinds of caterpillar Pokemon? Yes, absolutely. Caterpie has no poison, but Weedle does. Watch out for its poison sting. I'm pretty sure that's why they made Bulbasaur a poison type. Because it's kind of weird that of the very first 3 starters, one of them is dual type all the way through, right? Like Bulbasaur, in a way it kind of dilutes Bulbasaur's identity as the original grass type starter, at least it does for me. But I think that's why they did that, because there's so much poison in the next stretch of the game after Viridian City, and even through to like Mount Moon. There are a lot of bug catchers with the Weedle line, right? I started a playthrough once that was not that interesting and I never finished, where I was doing Fire Red, but Chikorita was my starter, and Chikorita had a miserable time in Viridian Forest with all the poison there. So I'm pretty sure that's why Bulbasaur's a poison type. Anyway. Weird fencing, we got a house we can go into. Whew, I'm trying to memorize all my notes. Looked at the notebook. First page. Pokeballs are used to catch Pokemon. Up to 6 Pokemon can be carried. People who raise and make Pokemon fight are called Pokemon trainers. Turn the page, yes. Second page. A healthy Pokemon may be hard to catch, so weaken it first. Poison, burns, and other damage are effective. Turn the page, yes. Third page. Pokemon trainers seek others to engage in Pokemon fights. Battles are constantly fought at Pokemon gyms. Turn the page, yes. Fourth page, the goal for Pokemon trainers is to beat the top 8 Pokemon gym leaders. Do so to earn the right to face the Elite Four of the Pokemon League. Whoa, crazy reveal. Hey, don't look at my notes. She let me read all that. And she's like, wait. I was flipping pages and everything. Shows how much attention she's paying. I got to page 4 and she's like, wait, hey, what are you doing? Now that was an info dump. But also, like, basic stuff about the culture of this world, you'd think it wouldn't be that hard for her to memorize. I don't know. Maybe that's mean. Okay. Be sure to read the blackboard carefully. Wait, is this a trainer school? The blackboard describes Pokemon status changes during battles? I didn't know they were doing this that early, too. Oh, let's see what kind of text they have to say about these. In Gen 1. A Pokemon can't attack if it's asleep. Pokemon will stay asleep even after battles. Use Awakening to wake them up. By the way, some of these status conditions do work differently in Gen 1. A burn reduces power and speed. Speed? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's true in Gen 1. I mean, it might be. There's a lot that's weird about Gen 1. I don't know all of the weird mechanics. But that is news to me if it's the case. It also causes ongoing damage. Burn remains after battles. Use Burn Heal to cure a burn. When poisoned, a Pokemon's health steadily drops. Poison lingers after battles. Use an antidote to cure poison. If frozen, a Pokemon becomes totally immobile. It stays frozen even after the battle ends. Use Ice Heal to thaw out Pokemon. Paralysis could make Pokemon move misfire. Could make Pokemon moves misfire. That's a weird way to word that. The Pokemon just can't execute the move, right? Okay, could make Pokemon moves misfire. Paralysis remains after battles. Use Sorry, this is an early generation. Use Parliz Heal for treatment. That's a lot of information. I'd better study up for a moment. Hang on. So, Gen 1 status conditions. I don't know if it's true that being burned reduces speed or if the game was just saying stuff there. The misfire wording on paralysis is pretty weird. What I do know is, in Gen 1, a frozen Pokemon will never thaw on its own, so freezing is even more broken in this gen than in others. I think it still thaws if it's hit by a fire-type attack, but I also think that's the only way, and there are no double battles in this generation, so it's not like you can target that yourself. So frozen Pokemon is pretty much taken out of the game. As for sleep, sleep is super weird in Gen 1. We'll definitely see it at some points. But, it takes a full turn to wake up. You don't also get to make a move on that turn, which makes sleep pretty broken in some situations too. On the other Pokemon woke up, and my Pokemon's faster, and just click Hypnosis or Sleep Powder again. They might not get to move at all. We'll be seeing that one for sure. Viridian City, the eternally green paradise. Really laying on the color theme. I like it, though. It's kind of, considering how much of the series will go on to be about sharing this very special world together and people from different backgrounds coming together and building connections through Pokemon battles. There's a pretty easy metaphor to read into the color theming of these different color places all over Kanto that, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but has aged pretty well over the rest of the series. Those Pokeballs at your waist. You have Pokemon. It's great that you can carry and use Pokemon anytime, anywhere. Also, I guess, yeah, this is meant to be a trader school, but there's like one kid in there and it just looks like a house. Maybe it's a tutor, right? Maybe that kid is at her tutor. Okay, can't talk to this guy yet because I don't have any HMs. Go over here. Big forest. I thought there might be a hidden item or something, but apparently not. If I go over here, I leave town and I'm on a route again. I can't even catch Pokemon yet, but pretty sure this leads to nothing. Item? Okay. I can't even catch Pokemon yet, but there are different some different encounters over here already, not just Rattata and Pidgey, like on Route 1. There's gotta be some kind of item or something up here, right? I don't know. If I go this way... Oh, the rival battle doesn't exist yet. Not until we get the Pokedex, I guess, so I actually can just go right over here, unobstructed. Pokemon League front gate. I've already reached the Pokemon League, folks. This might be a very short series. Look at this place. Only truly skilled trainers are allowed through. You don't have the Boulder badge yet. The rules are rules. I can't let you pass. That dialogue feels a little odd. I feel like it's different in other games, but... not allowed to pass through the front gate, so never mind. Still got work to do. Nothing to do now but go back to Viridian City. And I think I've done everything on this side of the fence. I go up here. My daddy loves Pokemon too. Tweet. I guess that's a Spearow probably. Well, yeah, that was definitely a Spearow cry. Although in Gen 1, a lot of cries are pretty similar. Coming up with nicknames is fun, but hard. Simple names are the easiest to remember. Yeah, relatable. I definitely have trouble with nicknames sometimes, as shown in some of these content playthroughs. I think Speary is doing just fine. Crammed full of Pokemon books. Yep, of course. What's this? Spearow. Name? Speary. Oh, he writes the nicknames down so they're easier to remember. Alright. Town map. This is an early gen, so there are a lot of those around. Hey, if writing the nickname down helps, why not? There's Pokemon Gym already. You could go get a badge. But there's only one way past the ledge, and it's time for this guy. Oh, Grandpa, don't be so mean. He hasn't had his coffee yet. Okay, don't know what she's referring to. You can't go through here. This is private property. Okay, well, there's my answer. Don't be so mean. Real localization W there. Because I believe in the original Japanese, this guy is drunk. But North American kids were not going to be exposed to that, right? So he just hasn't. He's just grumpy because he hasn't had his coffee yet. And you know what? As a kid, I didn't question that. Even though, like, I guess my parents barely ever drink coffee, but I guess I knew the trope from elsewhere. Honestly, this game might even have taught me the trope, but I still just accepted it. He hasn't had his coffee yet, he's grumpy. But it's crazy to me that this guy's passed out drunk. Not passed out, he's conscious, but he's just sprawled out drunk in the street. Like, a modern Pokemon game, even in Japanese, would never. But already we get a good look at how much rougher around the edges the Pokemon world is here in its debut. Look at this guy. This guy's cheeks are flushed. Oh, you never see anything like this in a Pokemon game anymore. Too bad he's an angry drunk. Alright. The only place left to go is the Pokemart. All else is close to me. Hey, you came from Pallet Town? How did you know that on sight? Do Pallet Town people have a particular look or something? You know Professor Oak, right? His order came in. Will you take it to him? Well, I've got nothing else to do, so I might as well deliver Oak's parcel. Okay, say hi to Professor Oak for me. Oh, maybe this guy just goes to Pallet Town sometimes and recognizes me because it's a really small town. Maybe that's a more reasonable explanation. Also, I can't seem to buy stuff. That's his only dialogue right now. Maybe if I leave and come back. No! Potions are all sold out! Or maybe he just doesn't have any product right now. Huh. This shop sells many antidotes. Wow, tons of Pokemon stuff. Okay, so he has product. What if I leave and come back? Can I check what he has to sell then? Okay, so I had Professor Oak for me. Alright. Well, there's literally nothing else to do right now, so let's go deliver Oak's parcel. Definitely getting that late 90s RPG vibe already, but it's very simple and easy to figure out the objectives right now. Obviously, I know the objectives because I've played this game many times, but that will change for the kids later. Oh, Red! How is my old Pokemon? Well, it seems to like you a lot. You must be talented as a Pokemon trainer. What? You have something for me? I deliver Oak's parcel. Ah, this is the custom Pokeball I ordered. I was so curious about this quote-unquote custom Pokeball as a kid, and it's never mentioned again. What was special about it? It's probably just like... What's an item that Professor Oak would need specially made? Well, this world is all about Pokeballs. It's something that... Anyway, thank you. Then Blue is here. Gramps! I guess he couldn't get past the drunk guy either. What did you call me for? Or Oak called him. Oh, right. I have a request of you two. On the desk there is my invention, Pokedex. It automatically records data on Pokemon you've seen or caught. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. Red and Blue, take these with you. I think in other, like in Fire Red and Leaf Green, he actually goes to the desk and picks them up, right? But here, without him moving at all, I have a Pokedex, and it disappears from the desk. That's a neat trick. To make a complete guide on all the Pokemon in the world. That was my dream. But I'm too old. I can't do it. So I want you two to fulfill my dream for me. Get moving, you two. This is a great undertaking in Pokemon history. Alright, Gramps, leave it all to me. Red, I hate to say it, but I don't need you. I know, I'll borrow a town map from my sis. I'll tell her not to lend you one, Red. Ha ha ha. I wonder what I should do next. This is a sort of an excellent... I mean, they had no idea... Game Freak had no idea when they made this game where the series would go, right? Like, I don't know if they were contemplating Gen 2 at this point. They might have been, but I don't think they were contemplating anything beyond that. The neat thing is, Pokemon has kept going for 30 years, and more Pokemon have kept being added over time, from 151 to 1,025. And probably more soon. So many kids started their journey with the task of finding every Pokemon, and the series was pretty explicit about it being unknown how many there really were in the world, even as there was a gameplay limit. And we're all still on that journey now. What a welcome to this world. Pokemon around the world wait for you, Red. Well, let's go. You have anything more to say? That was a silly question, wasn't it? Do I don't get Pokeballs yet, I guess. I have to buy them in... I thought Professor Oak would give me some, or his assistant would. I guess I have to buy them in Viridian City still? Grandpa asked you to run an errand? Here, this will help you. Use the town map to find out where you are. I guess she didn't agree with Blue's little scheme. Or he forgot. And so if I don't have any Pokeballs yet, I can't catch this Rattata still. Okay. Of course, that town map is probably going to go to the PC forever pretty soon, because in this game, this is a game with limited bag space. They were all like that until Gen 4, so my bag will fill up over time. And Gen 1, uniquely, doesn't even have separate pockets within the bag. Everything goes in one big pocket. And so your bag fills up pretty often as you accumulate TMs and key items and all manner of other stuff. And there is no distinction for key items in this game. I can deposit the town map in the PC. I can deposit the bike in the PC when I get that, or a fishing rod, or any kind of key that I need to open one lock and then never need again. So that town map is probably going to disappear forever. Not super long from now. Not like I don't know the map of Kanto. Now I can buy things. He is sold out of potions, though. That guy was right. Pokeball, Antidote, Parley's Heal, Burn Heal. That's it. Let's buy 10 Pokeballs. I like that. It's a solid number to start with. Most, but not all of my money. Nice round number. Only so many things to catch. And now, because I've done no training at all since the fight in the lab, I think I know how this is going to turn out, but there should be a rival battle unlocked over here. How much money do I have right now? 1175. Okay, keep that in mind. Hey, Red, you're going to Pokemon League? Forget it, you probably don't have any badges. The guard won't let you through. By the way, did your Pokemon get any stronger? Honestly, no, but let's see what happens here. That wording too. You're going to Pokemon League? It would make sense with a lot of names, right? Like, you're going to Pewter City? Yeah, I am. But he just drops the article for any name there. Oh, the Sand Attack. It's a level 9 Pidgey. I'm not even going to take this down. It's also spamming Sand Attack. I'm probably going to lose the Pidgey and not even see the Charmander. Well, who knows? He's not doing any damage yet, and I still am. Sometimes. What a great early game battle. Welcome to Gen 1, folks. Oh, and there's Gust. A normal type move in this game, as previously noted, but that's still stab for Pidgey. Maybe that's why so many of the early birds are normal and flying. I've always been a little curious about that, especially as they kind of normalize pure flying types later with like Rookie-Doo and Corvisquire. But maybe it was because moves like Gust and Razor Wind were distributed more. Razor Wind is weird because I think it's TM exclusive, but distributed more to birds, and so Game Freak thought they should get stab on it. Or maybe it's just like, this is a winged creature, but otherwise it's a pretty ordinary creature, and that's why it's a normal type. I don't know, it felt so deliberate to me that there were no pure flying types until Tornadus in Gen 5. But I've never been sure why they did that. And both explanations that this is just an ordinary creature, but also it has bird anatomy, or... Well, the stab on Gust thing doesn't hold up beyond Gen 1, so honestly it probably is the other thing I said. But I don't know, I've always been vaguely curious about that. If anyone has any insight, like they said something in an interview that I don't know about, feel free to let me know in the comments. Always been curious about that specific early Pokemon design choice. Anyway, I lost the battle, but I mean, I kind of figured. Yeah, am I great or what? And I blacked out. And I'm back at Pallet Town because I never used the Pokemon Center in Viridian City. Whoops, my bad. And now I have 587 money, because in Gen 1, every time you lose a battle, you lose exactly half of your money, however much that is. I remember one of my brothers had Yellow version as a young kid. He's younger than me. Well, now I can try to catch a Rattata. And he practically soft-locked himself. Because he only had Pikachu, I think. Maybe he had like a Rattata or something, but he didn't have anything good for Brock. And he lost to Brock over and over, and ended up with so little money that he couldn't even buy a Pokeball to catch something else. So, like, maybe there was some theoretical way he still could have beaten Brock with a ton of grinding that wasn't worthwhile, but effectively he was pretty much soft-locked. And it was because he just kept trying to battle Brock, and every time he lost half of his money. Bites anything when it attacks. Small and very quick, it is a common sight in many places. So I'm going to need to get to 10 Pokemon obtained. Oh, I didn't nickname the Rattata, but I'm not going to use it on my team, so I'm not bothered about that. I should, though. If I go to a name raider later, I should name it Joey, for youngster Joey. And his shorts and his Rattata. Try to remember to do that. I don't know where the name raider is in this game, but now let's catch a Pidgey. That one tackle should be enough. And this will bring me to 3 Pokemon obtained. A common sight in forests and woods, it flaps its wings at ground level to kick up blinding sand. Yeah, we just saw Blue's... I didn't nickname that either. We just saw Blue's Pidgey do that for a while. Alright, I'll get these 2 to a name rater when I find one. Rattata can be Joey, and Pidgey... I have a lot of time to figure out a name. Faulkner, I guess, is right there. Let's just deposit them for now. Three Pokemon obtained. Hopefully that drunk guy has had his coffee now. He's wandering around up there. His cheeks look better. Okay. When I go shop in Pewter City, I have to take the winding trail in Viridian Forest. So we're just not talking about what... Okay, we're not talking about what happened earlier. I guess she's a little too used to it. Ah, I've had my coffee now, and I feel great. Sure, you can go through. Are you in a hurry? Nah. I see you're using a Pokedex. When you catch a Pokemon, Pokedex is automatically updated. Once again, dropping the article, right? Not a Pokedex or the Pokedex, it's when you catch a Pokemon, Pokedex is automatically updated. What? Don't you know how to catch Pokemon? I'll show you how to then. And here is the root of the most famous glitch in Pokemon history. Of course, I can't activate it yet. There's a Weedle. Do I have to press A? No. He has no option to fight, he's not using Pokemon, but somehow he has 50 Pokeballs. An old man temporarily overwriting my trainer name, which I think is sort of the root of what triggers the missing no glitch. Old man catches a Weedle. First, you need to weaken the target Pokemon. These early catching tutorials, they fixed it in later games, but these early catching tutorials are so funny because they tell you that and they don't demonstrate it themselves. I also didn't know this guy could wander all the way over here. Huh. I'm learning stuff about this 30-year-old game as we go here. This Pokemon gym is always closed. I wonder who the leader is. Well, let's just read the sign. Never mind. It just says that it's a gym. Starting to see the forest already. The gym doors are locked. I didn't even... Oh my god, I didn't even hit A. First of all, just walking in front of it, it does that. But also, that I did not jump off the ledge there. The game forced me to do that. You just walk up in front of this gym, and they're like, nope, we're closed. Boot. Get out of here. Boot me down the ledge. Yep. Alright. That's a problem for later. Trainer tips? Yeah. Catch Pokemon, expand your collection. The more you have, the easier it is to fight. Okay. I don't have an HM. We'll go there later, of course. And here, the path is clear, but we're definitely starting to get into a forest. Got items on the other side of some cut trees. And very, very late 90s RPG, there's an obstacle. If you're playing this game blind, there's an obstacle that you can't interact with at all. But it visibly stands out, so surely you'll have a way to clear it later. And maybe you'll remember that and come back to this area when you find the way. Rattata may be small, but its bite is wicked. Did you get one? I did. Are you going to Viridian Forest? Be careful, it's a natural maze. Oh yeah, I talked about Gust being a normal type move in Gen 1. Bite is also a normal type move, which makes sense because the Dark type doesn't exist yet. The one that's weird to me is that Karate Chop is normal type in Gen 1, and I have no idea why. It seems like an obvious pick for a fighting attack. Anyway, now I'm deep in the forest. I came here with some friends. They're out for Pokemon fights. It's interesting that they keep saying fights instead of battles. Now there's some early installment weirdness. That explains the fights that are coming up in the forest, but first, let's properly explore this area. Hey, we did the same layout in Santaloon Forest in the first of my revisited playthroughs, right? In Pokemon X. They just copied the forest layout, I guess as a cheap nostalgia play in X and Y. Anyway, there's a Weedle. That'll be my 4th Pokemon if I catch it. Another tackle should be fine unless I crit, which I don't. I like that Gen 1 string shot animation. That's a really nice one, you know, by the standards of this game. There's my Weedle. Often found in forests, eating leaves. It has a sharp, venomous stinger on its head. Maybe there's someone more noteworthy I could come up with, but off the top of my head, there isn't. So I'm going to name it Casey, after the trainer that Ash gave his Beedrill from the bug catching contest to. Now I have 4 Pokemon. Registered in my Pokedex, to be clear, if I evolve my Bulbasaur, that counts as adding 1. In fact, in many playthroughs, if I've been short by the time I need to have 10, then doing something like evolving a Weedle twice is a pretty good way to deal with that, because it evolves at level 7 and then at level 10. It's a pretty quick grind. I ran out of Pokeballs to catch Pokemon with. You should carry extras. Okay. Thought there might be an item there, but it looks like there isn't. I mean, there could be a hidden one, but I'm not gonna bother. And now it's time for a fight. I believe this is the first non-blue trainer battle in the game, isn't it? There were no trainers on Route 1. There were no other trainers before the Pokemon League gate. But that bug catcher came here with his friends, and they're in the forest looking for fights. Hey, you have Pokemon, come on, let's battle them. And starting off battling bug catchers, of course. Perfect considering where the series comes from. Its inspiration in Satoshi Tajiri's own experience collecting bugs as a kid. And the story, I believe, is that he saw a link cable used to connect Game Boys and imagined bugs crawling across from one game to the other. And that plus the bug collecting turns into catching Pokemon and trading them. So, it's a nice touch, and very fitting, that the very first battles you deal with are kids out catching bugs in the forest, much like the creator of this series was himself when he was a kid. And yeah, Bulbasaur not being able to get poisoned is absolutely huge here, but also, if it were a pure grass type, it would be weak to poison type damage. Bulbasaur actually comes out best of the 3 starters here, because the starters don't get stab moves for a while, so your Charmander might not have Ember by this point, otherwise it would clear this area super easily. But the fact that Bulbasaur can't be poisoned and the other 2 can... Honestly, Bulbasaur... in a way, the poison typing is a little much, because Bulbasaur has enough early game advantages without also being the best for Viridian Forest, but the best for Viridian Forest it is. And it already learns Leech Seed. It's no Vine Whip, but it's a start. Actually, I'm getting kind of low on HP. I do have a couple of potions, but let's go ahead and Leech Seed this Caterpie. I don't remember how Leech Seed works in this game. I'm guessing it'll activate when the opponent moves, instead of at the end of the turn. Right now, that's indistinguishable, but with the speed drop, we might be about to find out. That only heals 1. Oh no. Yeah, it is. Okay, I think it's the same in Gen 2. Instead of Leech Seed activating at the end of the turn in a fixed priority spot, it activates immediately when the seeded Pokemon moves. A little bit of an early gen quirk there. I think poison damage might be the same, we might find out. We'll probably find out, there's so much poison in Gen 1. But hey, I complained about the 1 HP recovery, but this Caterpie being kind of a weak opponent, Bulbasaur is holding steady, not losing any further ground. So I'll pretty cleanly deal with this bug catcher here. Honestly, I was going to go back and heal after this battle, but now I think I won't. I'll take my chances with the next opponent. Weedle is still a tougher opponent than Caterpie, if only because it has Stab on its 1 attack. You probably noticed that Weedle did more damage than the Caterpie did. Well, it might be okay, and some of these kids have cocoons, and their cocoons only know Harden, so that's free Leech Seed, if we run into one of those quickly. Also, Red just grew to level 8. No, Caterpie can't cut it. It really can't. The Weedle is doing a lot better. Shh! You'll scare the bugs away. I like the Viridian Forest music, too. It just kind of fits the first sort of little challenge gauntlet of the game. It's a pretty relatively soft challenge gauntlet, although getting poisoned by stuff in here if you're not using a Bulbasaur is pretty memorable as a kid playing Pokemon for the first time. Of course, the game starts pretty light. You're battling other kids with relatively weak Pokemon. But this is the first wilderness area and the first such kind of gauntlet route. And the music is a nice touch. Yo, you can't jam out if you're a Pokemon trainer. What? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Maybe he's telling me to stop ignoring him and paying attention to the music instead. Maybe that's what that means. Okay, it's another Weedle. I mean, I also have potions, so I should be okay in this battle. I'm gonna go straight for a Leaf Seed, though. At least, the good news is every time it uses String Shot, I get some recovery. And no damage. The String Shot failed there because in early generations, all status moves used by NPCs just have a chance to fail. This is, again, it's the same in Gen 2. I don't know if the mechanics are exactly the same, but that being a thing is the case in Gen 2 as well. So sometimes something like a String Shot or a Growl. I should say all status moves that target my Pokemon. I don't think like a Swords Dance can fail, but a String Shot or a Growl or a Thunder Wave, even though it's 100 accuracy in this game, can fail. Bulbasaur actually gets back to green HP as this Weedle just doesn't bother to attack. Finally, a Poison Sting comes out. It really doesn't do much. Red here is getting much stronger already. Leech Seed knocks out the Weedle. No visible experience bars in Gen 1. So I could go into the status screen and like do the math on how close I am to leveling up, but instead most like I'm just gonna do this to get recovery. I know it's slow. But yeah, the Kakuna can't damage me. I like this Kakuna sprite though. Not often it's portrayed like that. And I do kind of think it adds something to the Pokemon's design. Having basically limbs. Anyway. Of course, famously, Gen 1 Pokemon were designed as sprites first, and then they figured out the bigger artwork later. I'm gonna get back to full doing this. I know it's tedious. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I can't tell how close my Bulbasaur is to leveling up, but I'm not bothered about it. It'll happen when it happens. I've used so many Growls now that... Oh, nothing happens? Oh, well, something happened that time. I think nothing will happen... Oh, it's maxed out its defense. There was nothing happened on the Harden, but now nothing happens on my Growl as well. But yeah, Harden is the only move it knows. That's Gen 1 for you. The only move that Metapod or Kakuna can learn is Harden. They can't learn Tackle or String Shot. So if I evolve the Weedle that I caught, it still knows Poison Sting and String Shot, I should say. Because it knew those moves already as a Weedle. But if I catch a wild Kakuna right now, it will only know Harden. And that will be the only move it can get until it turns into a Beedrill. I guess at this point I could have just started tackling already. I was 1 HP away from full, but whatever. Let's do it now. Honestly, it's kind of efficient to not tackle at all because I don't use up my PP that way. Let's see what this does. It's at max defense. It's maxed out its defense. Honestly, it's not so much faster that it feels worth the PP, so I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm sorry. I'm using a lot of tackles as it is. I'll probably have to go back and heal before I'm done here. But that's all fine, right? It's a slower paced playthrough. These things happen. I wonder if this guy's another Cocoon. I don't remember how many Pokemon he had, but I think it was 3 or 4. We've been here so long, I don't even remember. That early anime episode where Ash battles that samurai kid, and they get into a battle with their 2 Metapod that just spam Harden the whole time. That was some great early Pokemon content. That kind of spoke to the game experience a little bit. Of course, Ash's Metapod had it even worse than in the games because it evolved from a Caterpie and then forgot Tackle and String Shot and could only Harden, which is not what actually happens in the games. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of kids... I'm sure some kids actually did get into that kind of battle playing through these, so it's pretty funny that they put that in the anime. Viridian Forest, of course, famously where Ash caught his Caterpie and his Pidgeotto, which is why you can find Pidgeotto here in yellow. Anyway, there goes that battle. Red has reached level 9. Level 10, Vine Whip cannot be far off. It might even be now. Not yet, okay. But coming soon, surely. Huh? I ran out of Pokemon? Oh, that was an exclamation mark. No, I ran out of Pokemon! Darn! I'm going to catch some stronger ones. Yeah, Red's getting nice and strong already as trainer tips. I don't know how many more of these signs I'm going to read. Contact Professor Oak via PC to get your Pokedex evaluated. Oh yeah, I guess I can do that now that I have a Pokedex. I can do the Pokedex check through Professor Oak's PC instead of necessarily going up to the man himself. Maybe that's where the anime writers got the idea to have Ash call Professor Oak from a PC sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, the windy, grassy part here. I thought there'd be more trainers. I guess that's also a change in later Kanto games. Like, I think Fire Red and Leaf Green have more trainers along here. But I guess it's just the level 9 Weedle guy now. Okay. Well, in that case, I might actually have to do a little bit of grinding to get Vine Whip. Depending on what happens from this battle. Hey, wait up! What's the hurry? But I guess I won't have to go back and heal. This level 9 Weedle is memorable to me. I guess because it's like, it's kind of a mini-boss for this area, right? And I definitely did lose to it on the first attempt in some playthroughs. It's a very simple thing, and it's still a child out catching bugs, because that's what this part of the game is about, but it is actually a reasonably effective mini-boss. If I had a Pokemon that could be poisoned, especially, this Weedle could be a real problem sometimes. Bulbasaur showing that it's broken already, and I haven't even gotten to Pewter City or learned a Grass Stab yet. But yeah, this is for me one of the more memorable no-name random NPCs in the whole series. And by the way, literally no name, because these basic trainer classes don't have individual names for the characters in Gen 1. That's a Gen 2 change. This guy is just Bug Catcher. I give. You're good at this. But yeah, Bug Catcher is definitely one I remember. This specific Bug Catcher with level 9 Weedle. Well, I'm at the end of the forest. Leaving Viridian Forest, Pewter City ahead. I might as well do some grinding here, because I am going to need a Grass-type attack very soon, and I want to catch a Pikachu. Like I said, it is a rare encounter here. Kind of a special one. From back in the day. I can also catch this Kakuna while I'm at it. Just to make progress on the Pokedex. I am running low on tackles. Not so terribly low just yet. Oh, I missed a Leech Seed. But yeah, this will also be good for getting to 10 Pokemon obtained. I guess the other good reason not to play Fire Red or Leaf Green here is that at one point you need 60 Pokemon obtained, and honestly I don't especially want to bother with that. I do tend to leave that for the last minute when I play through those games, and it just becomes a grind after the league. Almost incapable of moving, this Pokemon can only harden its shell to protect itself from predators. Okay. Oh, I should have... Man, I'm gonna make the name reader busy when I find him. I'm gonna give him a lot of work. I don't know what I would name a Kakuna. I barely had a Weedle nickname. Anyway. They're Kakuna. I said I should grind, but a Kakuna's gonna take so long to take down. I can't be bothered. A Weedle, for sure, I would start tackling that. Viridian Forest Pikachu is a nice touch for an early game rare Pokemon. It gives you special early access to something that will be more common in another location later. This Kakuna right now. It is the first electric type Pokemon available. And at this point in the game, it's all like normal, flying, and bug, right? And poison with the Weedle line. I can't remember what you can get on the route before the Pokemon League gate. Maybe Mankey is there? I think Mankey's only there in yellow. So it is relatively, like... We're not getting into, like, crazy fire-breathing elemental creatures yet, except the starters themselves. It's pretty basic stuff. Normal types, birds, insects. So Pikachu is a pretty special encounter for this early. You're not catching anything else like it. For a decent little while. I guess until about Cerulean City in these games. So hopefully my patience here will be rewarded. But it's not off to a good start. There's a Weedle. I'll battle that for the experience. Another Kakuna. Why is it all Kakuna out here? Not all, but why are there so many? I've pulled up Poke Earth on my phone while I do this. And so according to Joe Sarabi, in red version, Weedle is a 50% encounter, Kakuna 35%. Makes sense that I keep running into those two over and over. But the sheer number of Kakuna is definitely over odds. And then all of Caterpie, Metapod, and Pikachu are 5% encounters, so this could take a little bit. That's interesting. I guess Caterpie must be more common in blue then. And yeah, Poke Earth does say that too. So each bug extremely common in one version and rare in the other. Pikachu rare in the other. And then of course in yellow, you can't get Weedle here, but Caterpie is extremely common. This is where Ash got his Caterpie. What about Gen 3? Did they change these things? Yes, in Fire Red and Leaf Green, Caterpie and Weedle are equally common here. In both versions, with one Cocoon being a little bit more common than the other. That's a pretty significant change then. Of course, Gold and Silver, which come directly after these games. The Caterpillars are version exclusive outside of the bug catching contest, so they actually went further with that one. Instead of one being common and one being rare. I guess it's still one common and one rare because you can get the other one in the bug catching contest, but it's a different approach to it. And then they completely dropped that. Fire Red and Leaf Green. Neat little early version difference. Not quite version exclusivity, but still it matters your options, which version you have. Of course, I had Red and Silver, so as a kid, I was running into Weedle all over the place, and Caterpie was a little bit more special to actually get. Although I don't think I knew the difference in Red version rates as a kid. In Silver, I understood that, like I said, I could not find a Caterpie outside of the bug catching contest. I'm running out of tackles. I should be able to take down this Weedle and one more. As long as I don't miss. But even if I miss, I can Leech Seed and spam Growl. But no need. I found it. Look at that Gen 1 Pikachu sprite. So round. Such a different tail shape. More Raichu-like than it is in the modern design. But mostly just look at how round this creature is. People say they miss round Pikachu. Well, this is about the peak of that for sure. And it's caught. When several of these Pokemon gather, their electricity could build and cause lightning storms. Like I said, genuinely super special, cool, rare encounter for this part of the game. Look at that Clefairy party sprite. Even Pikachu doesn't get its own one yet in Gen 1. This is the second member of the team, at least for now. I don't know if it'll be permanently on the team, but it's the second member for now, and of course its name is Ash. I mean, that was not a question. Ash is at level 3 with Thundershock and Growl. Good stuff. Now I'll go to Pewter City, heal red, and do a little bit more grinding to get a stab attack. Have you noticed the bushes on the roadside? They can be cut down by a special Pokemon move. I wonder what that move is called. Many Pokemon live only in forests and caves. You need to look everywhere to get different kinds. Good advice? There's a cave. Can't go there yet. Pewter City. I'm gonna do a quick visit for now. I'll properly explore after I finish grinding. But for now, let's just deposit these two. I guess it's appropriate to start the journey with Red and Ash, isn't it? Oh, that was my first time using a Pokemon Center to heal. I should have actually read the dialogue. I bet there's something weird about it in Gen 1. Let's see. Welcome to our Pokemon Center. We heal your Pokemon back to perfect health. Heal. Okay, we'll need your Pokemon. Thank you. Your Pokemon are fighting fit. We hope to see you again. Okay, it's a little less smooth than modern generations, but nothing too different. Alright, let's grind. Gotta get that grass stab or else Brock... I mean, honestly, Leech Seed and Growl might be enough to deal with Brock, but you don't want to watch that, do you? And I don't think Vine Whip is far off. It's probably like next level. Gust, not super effective because it's a normal type move. Yes, there is that difference, even though it's still stab. I have caught a Pidgey, right? Yeah, I have Bulbasaur, Rattata, Pidgey, Weedle, Kakuna, Pikachu. 6 Pokemon. Pretty good for this early. I'll definitely catch more in the next little bit. Alright. Hopefully this won't take too long. I think Vine Whip is probably at level 12. Even though Gust is supposed to be just, as the name suggests, a gust of wind, I think that little twister animation is probably, to some extent, why Gust was so often portrayed as whipping up a tornado in the early anime, when Ash's Pidgeotto used it and stuff. At least I'm seeing a lot of things that they probably drew on for decisions like that. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, that's the original template for what Gust looks like, even though it's probably better envisioned as just a weak little gust of wind. Relatively weak, right? Strong enough to do damage to a Pokemon, but it's a weak attack and its name is Gust, so... Anyway, I'm actually a little surprised that Bulbasaur hasn't leveled up again yet. It was leveling up so quickly earlier, but I guess that was against trainers' Pokemon that were at higher levels themselves. Pidgey looks a little different from its modern design, huh? Like the head shape and crest shape are a little bit different. Interesting. Many such cases with Gen 1 sprites because they were designed before the bigger artwork was finalized. There's a really special Gen 1 sprite that we'll see sooner or later that I'm really looking forward to. But not in this episode. The Pikachu was pretty good though. Okay, level 12. No Vine Whip? Okay, I'm gonna battle Brock's Gym Trainer. Instead of just getting a whole other level against wild Pokemon. I can't believe I don't have a Grass Stab yet. I don't think Charmander or Squirtle has to wait this long, although they also don't get Leech Seed. Although I think Squirtle might get Withdraw before it gets Water Gun. I don't remember. Maybe Charmander even gets Smoke Screen. Maybe they do have to wait this long. I don't remember. But a little bit unfortunate. You'd think, exclusively training Bulbasaur against every possible trainer, I would have Vine Whip by now. Oh well. Gen 1 Pokemon. The grinds are gonna happen sometimes. What? Team Rocket is at Mount Moon? Huh? I'm on the phone. Scram! Team Rocket is at Mount Moon. That sounds pretty serious. Hope I don't run into them. Yawn. When Jigglypuff sings, Pokemon get drowsy. Me too. Snore. What? Oh. Adventure? Right, okay. In yellow, there's a nice touch with that Jigglypuff interaction where Pikachu will fall asleep and stay behind until you leave. Pokemon learn new techniques as they grow, but some moves must be taught by the trainer. Through TMs. No move tutors in this game, but TMs exist. No egg moves because no breeding, but TMs exist. We'll get a lot of them. Pokemon become easier to catch when they are hurt or asleep, but it's not a sure thing. Oh, by the way, speaking of things that are referred to in the anime, if you watched the Gen 1 anime as a kid, that Jigglypuff song sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? I thought it was super cool when I first found out as a kid that that's in the games. There aren't many serious Pokemon trainers here. They're all, like, bug catchers, but Pewter Jim's Brock is totally into it. I guess that means he's serious. He's totally into it. He means business. Psst! You know what I'm doing? No. I'm spraying Repel to keep Pokemon out of my garden. That kind of habitual use might be a little bit, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. I don't know, Repels are probably fine and harmless, right? But it's Gen 1, maybe they're not. Environmental pollution is also a little bit of a theme that comes up in the first two generations, so... Anyway, Pewter City, a stone gray city. Pretty straightforward. Did you check out the museum? No, I haven't. Really? You absolutely have to go. Oh, he's gonna take me there. I didn't realize. I didn't know. I know there's another interaction like this. I didn't know about this guy. It's right here. You have to pay to get in, but it's worth it. See you around. Well, I guess if I simply must check out the museum right now. The Pewter Museum of Science. Let's do it. I don't remember this layout. It's $50 for a child's ticket. Would you like to come in? Yes. My money is still kind of hurting after I lost a blue, but we'll fix that over time. That is one magnificent fossil. Whoa, that's a pretty magnificent fossil, alright. No lie detected. Aerodactyl fossil, primitive and rare Pokemon. And down here? Kabutops fossil, a primitive and rare. Okay. That looks cool, though. We have a space exhibit now. Deoxys? Meteorite that fell on Mount Moon. Moonstone? Moonstone? I don't know, is it a moonstone? July 20, 1969. The first lunar landing. I bought a color TV to watch it. Now that is a very on-the-nose real-world reference that I did not... I know that Pokemon games early on made real-world references that they don't make now. Arcanine is a legendary Pokemon in China. Raichu can take down an Indian elephant that's since been changed to a Caparaja in those Pokedex entries. Mew was found in South America. I didn't know the moon landing came up in a Pokemon game. July 20th, 1969. Hard to mistake that. Heck of a real-world reference. Moonstone? What's so special about it? I don't know, maybe we'll find out. Nothing back here. Whoa, look at this. Space Shuttle Columbia. Okay. Alright. I want a Pikachu. It's so cute. I asked my daddy to catch me one. Well, you can't have mine. Yeah, Pikachu soon, I promise. Good luck to her. That was a museum. That was pretty cool. I saw some stuff there that I didn't expect. Alright, I didn't go to the mart yet. Can I buy repels? I'm gonna want them soon. A shady old man got me to buy this really weird fish Pokemon. It's totally weak, and it cost $500. I didn't know there... So, we'll run into the Magikarp salesman, another thing that got carried over to the anime. I absolutely will buy his fish, of course. But I didn't know there was an early warning about that guy. I skipped a lot of optional NPCs in the really early games that I played as a kid. I didn't know if you talk to this guy, you get a heads up about the Magikarp salesman. Obviously, I knew about Magikarp by the time I played a Pokemon game. I will buy that fish, though, no question. All the more reason not to start with Squirtle, right? Good things can happen if you raise Pokemon diligently, even the weak ones. Can I buy repels? This guy is not sold out of potions, so that's something. No repels. Alright, Mount Moon's gonna be fun. This is Gen 1 as well. This is an early generation, so the product available is tied to the store location, not to how many badges I have, so it won't change after I beat Brock. Oh well, it'll be fine. It'll be more than fine, it'll be fun. Our Pokemon's an outsider, so it's hard to handle. An outsider is a Pokemon that you get in a trade. It grows fast, but it may ignore an unskilled trainer in battle. If only we had some badges. Well, the term outsider definitely didn't stick, and that's probably for the best. Nidoran, sit! Bow bow! Wow, it's like a dog. That's kind of a dog-like noise. They're giving a command like a dog. Pokemon is just like animals. Gen 1, folks. Maybe I'll have more to say about that if it comes to me later in the series, but for now, yeah, Pokemon are just portrayed a little bit differently. Anything over here? No. Don't have cut yet. I can't trespass over there. Can I trespass over here? There's nothing to see here. This looks like a gap in the fence, but it's definitely not. Oh, is that... Those tiles behind the fence are kind of... Is this supposed to indicate that Pewter City is in the mountains? They kind of look like rocky terrain, right? Like a really... Well, I guess they also just look like the grass right here, so never mind. I'm overthinking it, I think. It's rumored that Clefairies... Okay, weird instance of pluralizing a Pokemon name with an S. That's not normally how that's done. But hey, here it is in the game. It's rumored that Clefairies came from the moon. They appeared after Moonstone fell on Mount Moon. Aliens? Deoxys? Ultra Beasts? Pewter City Pokemon Gym Leader Brock, the rock-solid Pokemon trainer. You know, folks, I don't know if I feel up to taking on this gym yet. Maybe I should just leave town and move on. Maybe I should go do something else and come back later. I think that might be for the best. Taking on a gym is kind of scary. You're a trainer, right? Brock's looking for new challengers. Follow me. That was some weird pathing. If you have the right stuff, go take on Brock. Okay, he just went this way through a solid fence. I guess he hopped the fence, but why can't I do that? But also, yeah, I can't go further until I've beaten Brock. Never mind. Game won't let me. I feel like in most playthroughs, I just have that guy guide me to the gym instead of navigating my own way here. I guess in this case I did both. Hiya! I can tell you have what it takes to become a Pokemon champ. Just from looking at me? Okay. I'm no trainer, but I can tell you know how to win. Let me take you to the top. Yes. Alright, let's get happening. The first Pokemon out in a match is at the top of the Pokemon list. By changing the order of Pokemon matches could be made easier. What kind of gym tip is that? You don't see anything like that in a newer game. Blue has already beaten this guy, so okay, I have to. I can't let Blue stay ahead of me. Stop right there, kid. You're still light years from facing Brock. The most memorable gym trainer line of all time. This guy has Diglett. Yeah, I think this guy does not actually have rock types. I think he just has ground types. Unless his other Pokemon is like a Geodude and I'm forgetting, but pretty sure I can handle this guy. Try to finally get Vine Whip. Although that Diglett is fast. and does a decent amount of damage. Funnily enough, it didn't crit me. I got the only crit there, so we take those. Sandshrew. Okay, yeah. This thing's kind of physically bulky. Let's see what it tackled for this point in the game. Let's see what, yeah, I'll probably want to not Vine Whip. I do want to Vine Whip it, but I can't. I probably want to Leaf Seed it. And honestly, I could go for some Growls after that. It's doing a lot of damage right now. Yeah, focus on training Red and not Ash. Ash will get his turn, but I just need that Grass Stab, you know? Oh, I got crit. We survive. I should probably use a potion here, and I have some potions, so why not? Then I'll switch to tackling instead of growling, because I'm not desperately trying to get recovery anymore. Actually, it's a good thing I Leech Seeded there, because that Sand Attack will make some of my tackles miss. But Leech Seed is still guaranteed damage. Every turn. Whenever the Sandshrew moves. Red, I'm really hoping you level up after this. I mean, no pressure. It's probably a pretty quick grind, even if you don't. But it would be nice. Okay, we missed that one. He doesn't go for an attack, so I actually get a little bit of extra recovery this way. Works out nicely for me. Goodbye, Sandshrew. Red grew to level 13. And learned Vine Whip. Finally, let's go. Kind of an odd move, Vine Whip. I don't remember its base power in this game, and I'm not even sure you can check in this game. Darn, light years isn't time. It measures distance. I would be light years from facing Brock if not for that, Wait, I've been forgetting to talk to people after battle, haven't I? If not for that, level up there. You're pretty hot, but not as hot as Brock. Okay, can I even check the base power of Vine Whip? All this information to check in this game. It only has 10 PP, and it's weak. I don't remember its base power, but it's low. I don't think I remember to talk to the bug catchers, so I might as well do that and heal. And then it will be time. At long last. Wander back here. Sorry, I don't have any repels. Oh, what do you know? It's a Kakuna. Of all things. Sometimes you can find stuff on the ground. I'm looking for the stuff I dropped. See? If I hadn't come back here, we wouldn't have gotten that insightful dialogue. There's a Kakuna. What an incredible find. And a Kakuna! Unbelievable luck so far. It is actually a little weird because Weedle's supposed to be the most common encounter. But I've been consistently finding so many Kakuna over and over. Darn! I'm going to catch some stronger... Oh, maybe I did remember to talk to that guy. That dialogue is familiar. Oh, okay. I guess it was just the last guy. Well, sometimes you can find stuff on the ground, and I wouldn't know that if I hadn't come back here. Oh, one thing that I'll try to remember to say when I get to Celadon City, but I'll say it now in case I forget. It's kind of mind-blowing to me that you can just buy a Thunderstone in this game, and I'll be able to just do that and evolve my Pikachu, because my first game being Generation 2, in my head Evolution Stones were super rare. That's how it is in the Gen 2 games, and to an extent in the Gen 3 Hoenn games. You get like one ever in a playthrough of each stone, except Moonstones, which tend to be a little more common, and Sunstones, which in Gen 2 are the bug catching contest reward if you get first place. But like, you get one Thunderstone in a Gen 2 game, and it's late in the game. Heart, Gold, Soul, Silver, there's the Pokeathlon, but that's not in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And so when I played Red after I played Silver, and I could just buy most of the evolution stones at the department store, like, it didn't feel right. It felt like the game was giving me a massive advantage to the point where it seemed kind of odd. But of course, these are the original games, so that's how it originally was. It's just in Gen 2. And to a lesser extent in Gen 3, they chose for those two generations to make them super rare. And that happened to be my starting point. Anyway, I'll have no trouble evolving this Pikachu when the time comes. But now, to get beyond Pewter City at all, I have to win my first gym battle. This is one of the top 8 gym leaders that I have to take down if I'm going to be champion. Gonna be pretty tough, I think. Let's see if I'm up to it. I'm Brock. I'm Pewter's gym leader. I believe in rock-hard defense and determination. That's why my Pokemon are all the rock type. Do you still want to challenge me? Fine then. Show me your best. I'm gonna have to bring my best for this one, folks. Let's see. Brock does look kind of scary. Starts with the Geodude, the first rock type that I'm seeing in this game. And then his other Pokemon is, of course, Onix. Little design note. They did a cool thing in Gen 1 that kind of hurt poor Onix. Onix suffered for the overall vibe of the gym challenge. Because in Gen 1, all of the gym leaders have fully evolved Pokemon. Onix is fully evolved in this generation. Starmie, Weezing, Raichu. I don't know why I said Weezing so early. Vileplume, Arcanine, Alakazam, Rhydon, fully evolved in this generation. What I mean is their aces are all fully evolved, even the very first one. Which as a group boss challenge makes them seem a bit more serious. Onix is a scary, imposing Pokemon to face this early in the game. It definitely made a strong impression, especially on kids who pick Charmander. Unfortunately, to keep that actually reasonably balanced, Onix's stats kind of suffered, and apart from its extremely high defense stat, it's kind of weak. And my guess is that's because they wanted to use it as this big, impressive-looking, fully evolved boss Pokemon, but because it's the first gym, they wanted to keep it balanced as well. Poor Onix, it suffered for our gameplay experience. In this case, it spams Bide, because for some reason that's Brock's TM in this game. And that's Gen 1 with Bulbasaur, folks. I defeated Brock. I took you for granted. As proof of your victory, here's the Boulder Badge. I get the Boulder Badge. That's an official Pokemon League badge. Its bearer's Pokemon become more powerful. The technique Flash can now be used anytime. And I get back more money than I lost to Blue that one time. All at once. Wait, take this with you. My first TM. A TM contains a technique that can be taught to Pokemon. A TM is good only once, so when you use one to teach a new technique, pick the Pokemon carefully. TM34 contains Bide. Your Pokemon will absorb damage in battle, then pay it back double. There are all kinds of trainers in the world. You appear to be very gifted as a Pokemon trainer. Go to the gym in Cerulean and test your abilities. So yeah. Brock, very scary looking first gym leader. Very easily beaten if you have a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle. Actually kind of a pretty interesting first boss if you got Charmander. Otherwise, just a cool introduction to boss trainers other than your rival. Unfortunate that Onix's attack stat suffered for our enjoyment. That is the first part of the 30th anniversary Pokemon Red playthrough. A lot of weird stuff showing up already, and there's going to be a lot more where that came from. I'm looking forward to playing through the rest of this for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's so much in these games. I'm learning new things about these games already, but there's so much to see that's so different from modern Pokemon. It's just nice to go back to our roots, see where it all began, and appreciate these games for what they are, even as we enjoy the newer ones as well. At least I think so. I'm looking forward to the rest of this. That's all I've got for now.